NBC 10 breaking news.
NBC 10 is following breaking news at Philadelphia International Airport. Police sources in Chester County tell us a Lufthansa aircraft experienced landing gear problems and spent time circling around Chester County burning fuel tonight. We do have a crew headed to the airport. We'll bring you a live report as soon as we get it. Well, turning now to the crisis in Iraq. The State Department is warning U.S. citizens against traveling to Iraq tonight as violence there escalates. Now, this comes as security is being beefed up at the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, and some workers are being transferred to other locations throughout the Middle East. Today, a new wave of terrorist violence reached Baghdad as the capital was rocked by a series of deadly bombings. The al-Qaeda-inspired group known as ISIS, which has captured key territory in northern and western Iraq, posted new photos online. They reportedly show its fighters massacring dozens of captured Iraqi soldiers. But NBC News cannot independently verify the authenticity of those photos. President Obama has ordered U.S. ships to the region, and now he's weighing how to commit the U.S. military without putting troops on the ground as the rest of the world watches.
We left a void when we just demilitarized and disbanded that Iraqi force in 2011.
Colonel Rick Kiernan has nearly 30 years of military experience. He's been watching as insurgents in Iraq, calling themselves ISIS, move with deadly and lightning speed over the past 3 weeks, taking control over several cities as they make their way to the capital city of Baghdad. He says this violence is 3 years in the making, and we may not have seen the worst of it.
If you look at the region, it's not just Iraq, but you have to look at Syria on one side, and now even, I guess, within the last week or so, even Iran has said, well, they'll join in. That's not helpful.
Iraq appears to be on the brink of a civil war. Some could argue it is already. Our nation appears to have war fatigue after troops spent nearly 10 years in Iraq to prevent such an outcome. The colonel says staff at the Pentagon and White House aren't getting much sleep thinking about what the president will do next.
He is correct in wanting to, pursue diplomatic means first before we automatically go to the throttle and the military solutions. So I think right now, probably a lot of midnight oil being burned between the national security advisors under Ms. Rice and the folks that advise the president.
The colonel says, as unpopular as it sounds, the option to have troops deployed to Iraq has likely been discussed. He says the uprising has moved so quickly that the next week or so may force the president's hand to use military force, which could be airstrike, troops, or drone attacks.
Pope Francis today prayed for the victims of the violence in Iraq, and during his weekly address in St. Peter's Square,